Right. So part two, um, organelle. All right. That is what is going on, and then the body might have to be pH balanced, or it might actually have to be, completely broke down, or if it's dealing with like scar tissue and third degree burns, that's something that can actually be fixed. All right. And then me being a human being that's like a professional in the third degree, I would know something about that because I had to live through it. All right. From third degree burns to scar tissue to arrest, which is pulmonary. All right. Meaning that's a vascular system. All right. And it works and it functions. All right. And it's vascular and it's pulmonary and it actually makes the heart function. Um, but when all that stuff starts to close up, that's not good. All right. You know what I'm saying? Something called arrest can happen with the elements. It can happen with edema. It can happen with, crazy weather. It can happen with tons and tons of heat. You know what I'm saying? That is a gas giant. All right. That's crazy. All right. You know what I'm saying? It's going from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. And then the body actually has to be able to adapt to that. All right. So, starting with the hypothalamus and the thyroid function, well, that's what is reacting. All right. That is actually what is reacting to try to fix a problem with, to fix a problem that is going on with its survival. All right. The thyroid gland is like that, and it's hooked up to like the vagus nerve. All right. And then sometimes we're using the thyroid gland and the thyroid function more often or less often. You know what I'm saying? So if you eat like a kosher diet and it's all sea salt, all right, you know what I'm saying? You're not really using, um, you're turning the thyroid function off. You know what I'm saying? And if you eat just like a diet like me, I've ate many different types of diets. All right. But when it comes down to survival, people did have to learn how to, live with table salt, all right, and use iodized salt. You can get iodized sea salt, but the education and the understanding remains the same. All right, there are reasons that you would want to understand both sides of that um, that argument. All right, because to live a kosher or halal diet would mean going out in the goddamn sun and growing your own peanut plants and peanut tree or peanut plants, making your own peanut butter. All right, raising your own cattle, raising all your animals, and then actually living off, a farm. You know what I'm saying? That is what a kosher halal diet is to derive everything naturally from your environment, and it's not really physically possible to do. You know what I'm saying? It is not physically possible for a human being independently just to do that by himself. All right, we have to live off of things. Okay, we have to live off the organelle of the food. All right, the animals are going to live that long, and then that's what is offered to us, from God. Even though it's something like that. All right, meaning it's the end of its cycle, but it's still an offering from God. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the predators that become, an offering from God. All right, but if it's not clean, you know what I mean. If it's an unclean animal or something like that, we don't mess with it. All right, you know what I'm saying. If it's ganglier, we don't take from the ganglier parts of the animal. That's the hot stuff on it. We actually take from the clean parts of it. All right, and then all the way to like a goat. All right, from like goat's milk to goat's cheese. That's living off the organelle of the animal. Milk, dairy, and stuff like that. It's living off the organelle of the animal. All right, which is not a bad thing. All right, that's part of our existence with Mother Nature. If we did not have those things, if we did not actually carry adaptations, if we did not evolve and adapt to do these things, like having a limbic system, all right, and being something that is like a strong swimmer, all right, well, you're in the sun, all right, and then you're out of the water, All right. You know what I mean? So your limbic system doesn't work like that. All right. Your limbic system needs to work more like a reptile. All right. And it needs to be able to do both. It needs to be able to function in the water, out of the water, in the heat, not in the heat. All right. So that is something that is, beneficial. All right. And then we come to the problems with the things that we can't actually eat. All right. We can't just eat from a dolphin. You know what I'm saying? We can't eat a shark. We can't eat a fish with no scales on it. We can't eat something from the slimy underbelly of fucking existence. We can't eat a catfish. All right, it'll fucking kill you. Okay, so that's why God has these goddamn laws about things that people shouldn't be tampering with, messing with, trying to consume, and things like that. And then there are things that we can forever adapt to, which is just like eating some fish. All right, having some orange roughy. All right, having some tilapia, having some of perch, cod. As long as there's not parasites, okay, as long as there isn't something going on that is creating that to be unclean, we actually do um, develop the ability, especially with our bones. Pacific whitening and stuff like that is good for your bones and your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Tilapia, it's good for your bones and your teeth. You know what I'm saying? So you need to actually just do more research on these things that are actually it's actually physically possible to do and it's good for you. All right, you know what I'm saying? And tilapia is more like a filter fish. All right, it is more like something that exists naturally to filter the bad things out of the ecosystem, and it doesn't carry anything bad. You know what I'm saying? It is a really, really, really clean fish. Um, that has the ability to actually exist naturally to make the water cleaner, and that's why tilapia was there in the first place, was to to actually filter out the contaminants and stuff out of the water. You know what I mean? So eating something like that, and then it's like stem cells. You know what I'm saying? It's just like giving your body stem cells from nature, all right, and then being able to exist more naturally and be cleaner, and then be able to actually filter toxins and stuff from your body more, just like consuming some charcoal. All right, consuming iron and charcoal and copper and minerals and all these different things. There are so many things that actually just do help with the bonding of. And I'm a Native American person, a German, and it's hot as hell in the goddamn sun, and I'm just forever like a transparent, translucent ghost. That is Native American. My genetics, my DNA, and my RNA is Native American. So it is forever bonding, patching, healing, living amongst existence and stuff like that. So, what would be better for the limbic system is doing something just like this. Let's see here. Maybe a closer view. Using the total gym. And this would be more of a swimming movement, but it's good for the rotator cuffs and the shoulders and stuff like that. So the hip flexor is tight and is binding. All right. And then to actually open the hip back up, and then use um, anterior and then interior rotation. All right. So it can unhinge. All right. And then it can unlock all the scar tissue and stuff like that. And that's anterior, and then that's interior. All right. And that's allowing that to open that back up and breathe. Because this can happen a lot. And it's called getting the bends. All right, you can get the bends here behind your neck. All right, you can get the bends here because the blood is not circulating properly to the extremities as it should. And the bends can happen from a lot of things. All right, you can get the bends just from playing basketball and dealing with like jet lag and altitude. So this is a way to work yourself out of the bends and then decompress.